The silence in the grand rotunda shattered as Empress Lyra stepped across the neutral zone. She didn't offer a hand or a salute. Instead, her glowing finger pointed straight at Kalen Voss's chest. Her voice echoed off the organic, pulsing walls as she declared him her husband before a room of stunned, armed soldiers. Have you ever wondered if some secrets are better left buried in the stars? Subscribe to join our crew as we uncover the truth behind the hegemony, one transmission at a time. Now, let's see how a simple diplomat ended up at the center of a galactic scandal. 6 hours earlier, Kalen had been standing in front of a cramped mirror in his quarters, struggling with a formal silk necktie. The fabric felt like a noose, a rigid scrap of Terran tradition that seemed increasingly absurd the closer they got to the Etherian fleet. Alloway stood in the doorway, his reflection sharp and unforgiving. He warned Kalen that the Etherians didn't value rhetoric. They valued resonance, and any deviation from strict protocol could be seen as a declaration of war. Kalen adjusted the knot of his tie one last time, his fingers trembling slightly. He knew we weren't just meeting an alien empire. We were meeting a mirror of our own future, though the gravity of that reflection hadn't yet set in. As the shuttle docked with the Obsidian Nexus, the team stepped out into a world that defied Terran physics. The architecture wasn't built, it was grown. Bioluminescent veins pulsed through the walls, casting a soft, rhythmic amber glow that made the very station feel alive. Kalen watched the light play across the surfaces, realizing the machine didn't just hum, it sang a melody he felt he'd known since birth. The transition from the sterile metallic shuttle to this breathing cathedral of light was jarring. Holloway's hand stayed hovering near his sidearm, his eyes darting toward the shadows that moved with a fluid, predatory grace. If you're finding the tension of first contact as gripping as Kalen does, subscribe to ensure you never miss a beat of this cosmic journey. They were led toward the central spire, where the air grew thick with the scent of crushed flowers and ozone. Kalen noticed his skin beginning to tingle, a strange sympathetic vibration humming in his marrow. Ahead, the Etherian guard parted, revealing a figure whose skin didn't just catch the light, it seemed to be the source of it. The Etherian guards moved with a synchronized liquid precision that made the Terran security team look like clockwork toys. As the delegation neared the throne, the sympathetic vibration in Kalen's bones intensified, a physical pull that felt like a fundamental law of physics. He watched Lyra's eyes. They weren't just irises and pupils, but swirling nebulae of shifting gold. The diplomatic protocols Holloway had drilled into him felt brittle and useless now. Every Etherian in the room stood perfectly still, yet the air between them was thick with a shared, silent communication. Kalen felt the weight of his silk necktie, again a strip of dead fabric, trying to impose order on a room that breathed with the rhythm of a star. He realized then that the bond wasn't a choice, it was a recognition. We weren't just witnessing evolution. We were seeing how environment and time could transform the human form into something transcendent. And now, back in the center of the rotunda, the silence of the soldiers felt heavier than the vacuum of space. Lyra's hand remained outstretched, her finger a glowing needle pointed at Kalen's heart. The room held its breath. Holloway's hand twitched toward his holster, his face a mask of panicked duty, but Kalen didn't look at him. He stepped forward, crossing the invisible line that separated two civilizations, his own heartbeat finally syncing with the song of the station. Kalen reached up, not to his sidearm or his data slate, but to the silk tie at his throat. With a single fluid motion, he pulled the knot loose and let the fabric fall to the organic floor. He looked at Lyra, not as a diplomat to an empress, but as a man who had finally found the other half of a melody.